Welcome, my friends. I hope you are doing well. In today's video, I will try to talk about things that might help you in your current and future lives. I hope it will be useful. Let's get into the video. The book costs $4. You find it at a secondhand bookseller, a 1987 edition, written in old script. Penned by someone whose name you've never heard, left behind by a man whose grandchildren still own real estate in 3 different cities. You find it behind a folding table, between a cracked picture frame and an old tea set. The title is Ordinary. The first page stops you. Capital is not earned, it is preserved. Everything else is noise. You are 27 years old. You have $18,000, and the feeling that you've done everything right but are going nowhere gnaws at you. You earn $74,000. You have an investment account. You track your spending with an app that sends you little colored charts as if they mean something. You are financially educated in the way people in 2026 are informed about money through short videos, Twitter threads, and 7-part series filmed in front of ring lights. It saddens me a bit to say this, but it's the reality. And yet, the number in your account flows like air, up in the good months, down when the car needs maintenance, or when you go home for the holidays, or when a subscription you forgot about renews. You read the book in one sitting, your mind is stalled. The rules are not complicated. They aren't new either. They are the exact opposite of what those who have been doing this for 4 generations define as what investment truly means. Old money rule 1. Never touch the principal. They told you to invest. They didn't tell you what investing actually means. It's not about riding a rising market. It's not about timing anything. It means identifying a pool of capital that you will never, ever spend. Not in an emergency, not for an opportunity, and not when the market drops and your stomach drops with it. It means treating that pool the way old families treated land. You don't sell the land. You sell what the land produces. You spend a week with this, you calculate your $18,000, you decide that $10,000 of it is the land. You open a brokerage account and move it there. Then, you do something you've never done with money before. You stop watching. The first month is uncomfortable. The second month, less so. In the third month, you understand something the book was trying to explain. Accumulation requires you to look away. The anxiety of watching is what breaks the chain. The shift? You stop measuring what you have. You start measuring the thing you have committed to never touching. You begin to notice what old money says about spending. And for the first time in your adult life, you feel true shame. Not about how much you spend, but about what you spend it on. The book doesn't say to live cheaply. It says to spend intentionally for things that are permanent. Things that are durable, things that don't require replacement. The difference between a $40 shirt that turns into a rag within 2 years and a $160 shirt that you wear to a meeting at age 40 isn't $120. It is the cumulative difference between what you spent and what you would have kept. You stop buying not everything, but you stop the reflex purchases. The trend-chasing purchase, the upgrade cycle, the second version of something whose first version still works. You wait. Old money waits. Not because it is inherently patient, but because patience was taught to it over decades by people who understood that desire is not the same thing as need. And that confusing the two destroys wealth across generations. When I learned this, I thought to myself, man. It was as if I had been playing the wrong game my whole life. Your savings rate rises without your income changing. You find this mildly surprising. Then, you find your surprise embarrassing because the mechanism was obvious once you stopped being a part of the machine designed to hide it from you. Old money rule 2. Your income is not your identity. In 2026, everyone displays their earnings. The car, the apartment, the vacation, the restaurant, everything is posted, edited, indexed for the approval of people displaying the same thing back to you. You were doing this. You didn't know you were doing it. You just thought you were living. You begin to see the performance. The colleague who buys a BMW on a $91,000 salary and speaks of the monthly payment with a kind of desperate pride. As others speak of rent, the one who uses pain as proof of pleasure, the friend who moves to a neighborhood they can't afford on their own and calls it an investment in themselves. An entire vocabulary built to turn liabilities into virtues. Treating yourself, living your best life, you only live once. You drive the same car. 7 years old? It works. You stop apologizing. Something strange begins to happen in social spaces. People in certain rooms start to take you more seriously, not because you display wealth, but because you stopped displaying need. There is a calmness in someone who doesn't perform. People mistake this for confidence. They aren't entirely wrong. What it really is, the absence of the low-frequency anxiety that comes from spending ahead of your position. You have nothing to look at. The armor is lighter. The shift? You stop spending to signal status. You start spending to achieve permanence. You are 30 years old. Your principal is $41,000. Your income is $88,000. You've started consulting on the weekends. Not aggressively, not with a brand or a system of funnels, but with 2 clients referred by someone you once helped without a fee. The old money rule on this is clear. Your reputation comes before your invoice. You don't market yourself. You don't post what you are doing. You deliver and wait for the delivery to do the talking. A 3rd client calls, then a 4th. You don't tell the people at your day job, not because you are afraid of them, but because the book is clear. Discussed money is diluted money. The moment you say you are building something, you trade the energy of building it for the temporary dopamine of being seen building it. Old money families held assets for generations without press releases. There is wisdom in silence. I learned this late as well, I must admit. Do you know what happened when I shared my first successes on social media? It didn't help at all. The energy flowed there instead. Your consulting income reaches $3,200 a month. You move it directly to the principal. You don't upgrade your life. Your principal is now $62,000. You are 31 years old. You can feel the weight of $62,000 in a different way than you felt $18,000. Not because the number is larger, but because you have never spent it and you don't seriously consider spending it. And the discipline itself has become structural. It is a habit so deeply ingrained that maintaining it no longer costs you anything. Old Money Rule 3. Protect your name more carefully than your capital. This rule is the one that takes the longest to understand because in 2026, the name has been turned into a brand. A brand is a performance, and performance is measured by engagement. Engagement is the exact opposite of what old money actually means by the word name. A name, in the old sense, is what the room thinks of you when you are not in the room. The answer to the question, can this person be trusted with something important? It is built over years of small, correct decisions made quietly. It is destroyed by a single, loud, wrong decision. You reject a deal that would earn you $14,000 in 14 weeks because the person making the offer cuts corners in ways that would link your name to that corner cutting. You say no. The discomfort lasts 3 days. The clarity lasts much longer. You begin to be known in small specific circles as someone who does what they say. In the culture of 2026, where everyone has a personal mission statement and a values section on their website, this isn't impressive. It is truly, quietly, functionally reliable. You show up, you finish. You don't exaggerate what you can do before you do it. This is remarkable enough to be remarkable. An introduction is made. Someone managing assets for a family office mentions you to a colleague. The colleague has a problem. You solve it. The fee is $22,000. You've never billed this amount before. You don't negotiate down out of discomfort. You hold the figure they pay. The shift. Reputation begins to earn on its own. The name accumulates. You are 34 years old. The principal has never been touched. $124,000. Your consulting business produces $9,400 a month. Your day job, the one that pays you $96,000, is the job you quietly and without fanfare leave on a Tuesday morning. No LinkedIn post, no announcement. Old money doesn't announce transitions. It completes them. You buy a small property, not in the city, not a statement. A 2-unit building in a secondary market that an algorithm wouldn't suggest and a creator wouldn't highlight because it isn't photogenic and the numbers aren't dramatic. The rental yield is clean. The tenants pay reliably. You hold. Old Money Rule 4. Time, the unpurchasable asset. The rule is so simple, it feels like a cliche until you feel the weight of the 4th decade. Old money families didn't build wealth in years. They built it in generations, which means every member of the chain must plant trees under which they will not sit. You start making decisions with a 20-year horizon. You reject 3 opportunities that would generate quick cash, but would consume your attention entirely. Instead, you invest in slow, boring, permanent positions that wouldn't be interesting to discuss at any dinner you can imagine. You aren't trying to win a conversation. You are trying to be solvent in 2046. The discipline of the long-term view changes what you pay attention to. You begin to see the economic rhythm the book described, the undercurrent of the cycle that you can feel from the data if you don't look too closely at the data. You prepare for a slowdown because it will happen before it does, not because you predicted it, because your horizon was long enough that you were already holding something that would benefit. The position brings $38,000 within 14 months. You reinvest, you don't celebrate. Old money rules do not celebrate returns. Returns are expected. Celebrations are for results you weren't sure you deserved. The shift. You stop measuring success in years. You start measuring in decades. You are 38 years old. Your principal is $340,000. 2 properties are completely yours. Your business earns $180,000 a year, and without your full attention, you work 4 days a week, and on the 5th day, you do the kind of work that won't pay immediately and might not pay for years. The relationship, the introduction, the patient development of something that has no launch. Your peers are anxious in ways they name and ways they don't. From the mortgage to the raise they didn't get, to the market fluctuation that wipes out 4 months of contributions in a week. You aren't immune to the world, but you are insulated from its urgency. The emergency fund the internet suggests is 3 months of expenses. Yours is measured in years. You don't mention this. No one needs to know what the floor is. They only need to know you are still standing. Old money rule 5. Never let them see the count. The old money families, you studied not the celebrities, not the tech billionaires, but true old money. Those who own property, manage trusts, whose wealth survived economic crises and 2 world wars share. A single visible trait? You cannot tell what they possess by looking at them. No visible logos, no watch that speaks before they do. No house that announces itself. Not because they are humble in spirit, but because visibility is a tax. The visible wealthy attract the wrong attention. The offer, the request, the renegotiated friendship, the deal that exists only because someone thinks you have money to lose. Invisibility is protection. The book says it clearly. The display of wealth is the first expense of the insecure. You buy a watch, it costs $400. Not the right brand. You wear it for 7 years. You are 41 years old. Your net worth is $1,100,000. There are 3 people who know this number. 1 is your accountant. You don't feel like a millionaire in any version of the word produced in 2026. It doesn't feel like the videos. You feel like someone who has made 1,000 small, correct decisions in a row over 14 years, and now you live within the result of those decisions, which feels more like a terrain than a destination. It is quieter than you expected, slower, more permanent. The algorithm is still running. It's still selling urgency. It's still measuring you against the ring light guys who found a faster way. Some did. Most are displaying finding it, and finding is the product. You've stopped watching, not with contempt, out of indifference. The performance was never intended for someone who already had a plan. Tonight, somewhere, a 27-year-old is holding the $4 book and reading a sentence that doesn't sound right yet. Capital is not earned. It is preserved. He'll probably put it back. The algorithm will recapture his attention before he gets to the second chapter. The noise is very loud in 2026. Silence is far from the screen. But if he reads, if he follows the first rule, then the second, if he sits with the discomfort of the third long enough for it to become a habit, and if it becomes a habit rather than a posture, he won't be a different person. He will be someone with options. Real ones. The kind you cannot buy quickly. The kind that requires the only resource old money has. Understood better than any generation since time, patience, the willingness to accumulate in silence. The book cost $4. The rules are free. The only thing they will cost you is the version of yourself that wants it fast. See you in the next video, my friends. If you've watched this far, I want to thank you, my friend. I hope I was able to provide some value to you. Our journey is a long one. If you find my videos helpful, feel free to like the video and subscribe to my channel. Take care of yourself.